All right, guys, welcome back. It's Shay Seeking, and we're still talking about the goddess Kali or Kali. So we're just, reading this and then just looking at a little information that can help us again with things that are the transition or walk or journey, that we're going through at this point in time. And again, there's his story and what it tells about these particular goddesses, empresses, and empires, whatever the historical aspect. Again, I believe that Kali again is also a deity that would have something to do with a worldwide type of thing, meaning like throughout time, people have lived in different places, different kingdoms, and things were in different places than what we see them in today. And so, again, anyone can apply this to, again, it will naturally just be, you'll naturally be drawn towards the information if it's something that pertains to you, in your story. So, you'll read some of these stories and be like, dang, this seems so similar to whatnot, or this reminds me of she has the same spirit as whatnot. So again, a lot of these people are, I feel, just again, I ain't never here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm simply sharing what it looks like to me. But a lot of these people, represent, I think that these are different deities that have come time over time with the same energy, the same spirit, and have been given different storylines within different aspects of what we know as history or mythology or folklore or biblical. Again, you can find all of this stuff, same thing. Uh, I'm sure that they're speaking of Kali or Kali in Revelations. So, um, so again, the, what are we, if we have these gifts and these things to share, what are we going to be here for if we have to feel, some kind of way about sharing them with other people? Again, because this transitioning or this it is a very difficult thing to go through, and so that we don't lose our balance or whatever. I think we should be paying attention to a lot of this stuff. It could lead us to a lot of a deeper understanding of, what's going on in this world today and what we've been put here to do. um you know so it says here, the other 11 forms represent very subsequent levels of awareness, all the way down to our ordinary unenlightened state. From pure formlessness and throughout the countless forms she assumes, Kali is the sole reality. Mother is all, and all is mother. I can imagine her being someone that said there is no other gods than me. You know, um, because at this point in time, they were, they were the gods and goddesses. So, um, okay, it says the earliest description of Kali belongs to the Puranas, and they place her on the battlefield. So like even when we're talking about the lots of different tribes of women, or women just in general throughout these stories. We'll just call them these stories. We're talking about the whole aspect of all those different compartments of the story, or his story and her story, the story. um, so because again, I think we get wrapped up into this information and being very specific. But again, I just read this information to get a better understanding or take it within. I'm not saying that this is the way it happened or anything, but I can just say from all the stuff that I've taken in, uh, you get a better sense of how things may have, if you can be more non-biased and not, regulate everything. And, that's why I just like to keep things up in the air, because you don't know who wrote that book, why, if they were telling the truth, who, so all of these storylines and everything, it just is what it was or what they said it was, and that's why taking the information in and compartmentalizing it makes it a little bit more beneficial, because, you never know. And we're reading these things, and sometimes it's telling you that something happened in a certain location, but our location is all the way off, because a lot of the stuff didn't even happen in the areas that you perceive that they happen in. They actually happen somewhere totally different. You might be standing on the ground, the very ground that some of these things happen in. If you pay attention to detail, you'll be able to see a lot of times, you know, um, where some of these actual things actually really happen. And this may be a reason why some of us experience other things because of that. So, It could be the very place where your home is sitting, a monument or something nearby. Okay. So it says here, let's see. Okay. The battlefield. Okay. The, I don't know why I'm having these yawning episodes right now, but that's what's going down. So excuse me. Um, the Devi may Maham, mm, the Devi Mahatmaya, okay, Mahatmaya vividly depicts a scene with Kali and her associated goddesses ready to take on an army of demons. Okay. Here, Kali has emerged as the personified wrath of the Divine Mother, Durga. She appears emaciated, with dark flesh hanging loosely from her bones. Her sunken eyes glow red in their sockets. Now, so I find that funny because if you read about Sekhmet or Sekhmet, you will find that Esther, Astara, Ishtar, all of these things, all of these beings, apologies, all of these beings, there have been people that come to say that these are the same particular beings because we're dealing with spirit, is what I feel. Um, we're dealing with something that was divine, you know. And I say was because it still is, but what we've been taught is that this stuff happened in the past when not that we may be looking at it as these spirits are still going on, you know, and these souls or whatnot, however you want to look at it. Again, I don't try to get too whatever specific because again, what is the truth of it all? What is the truth? But again, seeing these things and really taking them in helps me open up different doorways. It's just the way that my mind works and the way that my energy is. It may not work the same for everybody else, but you know, um, again, so when a lot of people get upset, they don't you know they don't want people, we're on all these new things that's coming up now, like, oh, don't, words are, of course, these things cast, but even when I'm reading the biblical text, I'll be honest with you guys, there's some stuff that I don't feel comfortable really dealing with because I feel as though it feels strange saying those particular things. But again, we know who they told us wrote the text. I analyze things. I'm not, when I bring something to you, I'm not telling you this is factual. I'm just telling you, wow, have you ever thought about it like this? To each his own, right? So, some of the stuff I don't, I hesitate, or if it doesn't feel right, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to deal with it because I do feel that the more, especially when you're in a state of a certain level of awareness, and there's a certain level of something in your uh, let's see, of being able to speak things into existence to a certain extent. I just like to be particularly, I'm just learning my own way that it is true that words could be damaging, and they do, you know, so, uh, so I can understand where people are coming from, but until we get some other type of or form of, um, uh, and again, I know that there's telepathic ways to, deal with each other right now in this day. But until we find out another language or until we start learning how to hum something or something, what I'm saying? We're going to have to use text. We're going to be reading books. We're going to be reading things. Um, so again, it's just the way it is. And I can sit here and speak to you the whole time without showing you the words and without letting you know that you can go to this article on your own. And then we're still speaking the same words. So, or we're just still coming up with the same, we're just analyzing it, I guess, a little bit more, looking at it this way. Okay. So, yeah. So it says here, Kali has emerged as personified wrath of Divine Mother Durga. She appears emancipated. Okay, we already read that part. What I was saying about the red eyes is because I was looking at something about Ishtar. And it was in Hathor again. There to take it out. So I was looking at all of I was looking at information about this and how so many people are making reference to it being the same entity. And I remember seeing like an ivory colored statue of Ishtar or Esther, with the red eyes. Um, and I just wanted to put that out there really quick because I just remembered that. She is clad in a tiger's skin and carries a skull topped staff. And then again, there's another image of Ishtar carrying a staff, but her staff has like a V shape. It's like a V shaped something at the top of it. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I'm going to show you guys some images. We're going to just look at some images later and just analyze them. Um, so maybe I'll be able to show it there. So it says a garland of human heads adorned her neck. Her gaping mouth shows her to be a fearsome, bloodthirsty deity. And again, what does this really actually mean? What is bloodthirsty? Could a bloodthirsty deity today be someone that is spewing out things that is going to cause harm to someone? Is it going to cause harm to themselves? Is this just, a way to make something scary so that you refrain from doing it? Was she just making a commotion about something that needed to be said? Was she just speaking truth? What does this mean? The battle culminates with the slaying of two demon generals, Kanda and Munda. And this act earns her the name of Kamunda. Okay? So, yeah, let's keep going. So it says in the next episode, Kamunda. I like the way it sounds. Okay, let me stop. Takes on the demon Raktabiya. His name means he whose seed is blood. Yes. Okay, here I come. Whenever a drop of his blood falls upon the ground, another demon of equal size and strength springs up. Don't it feel like that, y'all, these days? These demons that we fighting against? You battle one thing and it's another. And it's just like, okay, okay, what? um, but again, sometimes it can spring up in those times a form of like a shudder or whatnot. But then you have to go, and this is where I used to be like, oh, faith or whatever, nah, but then you figure faith without works is dead. So if you're in the faith and you're doing the works, the world will have you try to gravitate and do everything else besides that work. And that's what I cannot stand about this world. I just want to be, and I want to be within me. But the more you are in you, the more afraid they are of you and the more powerful you begin to be. And so, again, this is the last thing anybody would want. All right. So he sheds blood profusely until the world is teeming with Rakta Bija. Just when the battle looks hopeless and the onlooking gods despair, Kamunda roams the battlefield, avidly lapping up the blood. And again, more lapping up the blood, kind of like a Sekhmet, okay? And crushing the nascent demons between her gnashing teeth. Finally drained of his last drop of blood, Raktabia topples lifeless to the ground. All right, y'all. That's part 2. I have to take some food out the oven, so I'll be back. But yeah, stay tuned.